Since time immemorial, humanity has sought to transcend its reality, escape the weight of the mind, and forget its troubles. Among the many gateways we have discovered for this escape from reality, alcohol stands out as the most popular today. It is the agent of celebrations and tragedies, of inspiration and oblivion. Despite the global production, promotion, legalization, and mass consumption of alcohol, most people neither consider nor understand the spiritual consequences of consuming it. Today we will explore the hidden spiritual effects, what truly happens when you drink alcohol, and what great spiritual masters and ancient traditions have to say about it. The history of alcohol is not merely the story of a substance. It is a tale interwoven with humanity's quest for transcendence, alchemy, and connection with the divine. To understand it, we need to travel to the cradle of its etymology and uncover the hidden meaning behind the word Al-Kuhul. In the Arabic language, Al-Kuhul originally referred to a fine powder used as a cosmetic to darken the eyes, known today as kohl. But this term held a deeper meaning for alchemists. For them, Al-Kuhul represented something intangible, an essence that could be distilled, the soul of a substance, the spirit captured in the alchemical process. Essentially, the Arabic word Al-Kuhul means body-eating spirit. In alchemy, alcohol became the symbol of a volatile essence, the spirit that separates from raw matter. Perhaps this is why, to this day, we refer to alcoholic beverages as spirits. The use of alcohol as a fermented drink is even older. Civilizations such as the Sumerians, Egyptians, and Greeks revered alcohol as a gift from the gods. In ancient Mesopotamia, wine and beer were offered to the gods in rituals. In Egypt, wine was associated with Osiris, the god of renewal and fertility. The Greeks dedicated wine to Dionysus, the god of ecstasy and divine madness. However, while alcohol was celebrated as a link to the divine, it also carried warnings. To the sages of antiquity, wine had the power to reveal the true self, but at the same time, it could obscure reason and open doors to dangerous influences. In Islamic tradition, the term Al-Kuhul evolved to denote alcohol extracted through distillation. Although alcoholic beverages were prohibited in Islam, Muslim alchemists continued to study the distillation process, refining it as a scientific art. The famous Arab alchemist Jabir ibn Hayyan, known in the West as Geber, was one of the first to document the distillation technique, giving rise to alcohol as we know it today. The legacy of alcohol transcended alchemy and became part of everyday life. Yet over the centuries, the substance once revered for its spiritual connection has become something that serves the complete opposite purpose. Alcohol is more than a physical substance affecting the body and mind. It directly interacts with the human energy field, often referred to as the aura. To understand its impact, we must delve into the subtle territory where modern science and spirituality converge. All esoteric traditions agree on one fundamental point. Humans are not merely flesh and bones. We are energy in motion, enveloped by vibrational fields that emit and receive information from the cosmos. This energy field, often visualized as an aura, reflects our spiritual vitality. It is here that alcohol exerts its deepest and least understood impact. When we consume alcohol, it enters the physical body and alters chemical processes in the brain and liver. In the energy body, alcohol acts as a destabilizing agent. It creates tears in the individual's energy field, making them vulnerable to negative external influences. Rudolf Steiner, one of the founders of anthroposophy, argued that alcohol consumption weakens the spiritual self, allowing destructive forces to influence the psyche. This energetic opening can attract thought forms, astral larvae, or even entities that feed on the energy of addiction, known in Spiritism as obsessing spirits. These gaps or ruptures in the aura are especially dangerous because they weaken our connection to the higher self, that divine spark that guides and protects us. Instead of remaining centered and aligned with our essence, we become scattered, like a rudderless boat on turbulent waters. This is why many people report feeling emotionally unstable, spiritually disconnected, or mentally confused after consuming large amounts of alcohol. The impact on the chakras is equally significant. Alcohol tends to overstimulate the root chakra, associated with earthly pleasures and survival, while weakening the crown chakra, which connects our consciousness to the divine. This creates a dangerous imbalance. We seek immediate satisfaction in the material world while avoiding higher truths. Great spiritual masters have always warned about this. In the Yoga Sutra, Patanjali describes the importance of keeping the body and mind pure to access higher states of consciousness. Paramahansa Yogananda, in his work Autobiography of a Yogi, stated that alcohol obscures the light of the spirit, dimming the clarity needed for true spiritual realization. Even modern science shows the effects. Neuroscience studies reveal that alcohol reduces activity in the frontal lobes, the brain region associated with conscious decision-making and introspection. The energetic impacts of alcohol can also be observed in collective environments. When many people consume alcohol in a shared space, such as parties or events, their energies mix uncontrollably. The vibration of the space tends to drop, becoming denser and more chaotic, and people's behavior becomes more primal. This is why many spiritual traditions advise avoiding environments where alcohol consumption is prevalent, recognizing the risks not only for individuals, but also for the collective. On the other hand, there is a message of hope. Human energy is incredibly resilient. Through spiritual practices such as meditation, Reiki, yoga, and conscious intention work, it is possible to repair the damage caused to the energy field and restore balance. But this requires effort and dedication, a deliberate choice to transcend material impulses and return to alignment with the divine. By understanding the impact of alcohol on your energy field, you can begin to make more conscious choices that bring you closer to who you truly are. Is the fleeting pleasure of a drink worth the disconnection it causes from your essence? Alcohol exerts an irresistible pull on humanity. Over the centuries, it has been celebrated in rituals, used as a medium for socialization, and sought as an escape. But why, despite knowing its harmful effects on the body and mind, are we still drawn to it? What lies behind this veil of illusion that makes us crave something we know, deep down, will harm us? At the core of this attraction lies a profound disconnection from our true nature. Since ancient times, humans have sought ways to escape the limitations of the body and mind. The pursuit of immediate pleasure and relief from existential pain is part of the human condition. Alcohol presents itself as an apparent solution, a magical potion that promises to lighten life's burdens and transport us to a state of ecstasy, of temporary freedom. But this is merely the veil of illusion. Alcohol offers a false sense of freedom and happiness. It intoxicates us. When consumed, it creates a fleeting awakening. Feelings of anxiety, fear, and insecurity seem to vanish. Confidence grows. The shy boy finally talks to the girl he likes. We gain courage. But these sensations are ephemeral, fleeting. They deceive us, making us believe we are free when we are actually drifting further away from our true essence. Hermetic tradition teaches that humanity is in constant pursuit of the unus mundus, the primordial unity, the state of totality and harmony with the cosmos. By turning to alcohol as a way to fill the inner void, we are making a mistaken choice. We seek unity outside ourselves, in the ephemeral, in what is physically consumable, and by its nature, depletes us. Alcohol offers a false link to wholeness, but this link is fleeting and eventually breaks, leaving us emptier than before. Ultimately, what we seek is a reconnection with our inner divinity, the peace and fullness that do not come from external sources, but reside within us. Ancient sages such as Plato and Lao Tzu spoke of the path to true freedom and enlightenment, a path that does not depend on fleeting pleasures or temporary escapes. Plato, in the Republic, described the soul's ascent as a process of liberation from the illusions of the physical world. Lao Tzu, in the Tao Te Ching, taught that true peace is found by living in harmony with nature and the flow of the Tao, not through excesses or escapism. On a psychological level, alcohol reinforces a pattern of emotional dependency. People often do not seek alcohol solely for pleasure, but as an attempt to cope with psychological and existential suffering. Alcohol has a sedative effect that can be appealing when someone feels overwhelmed, anxious, or stressed. By reducing stress, it offers false solace, providing a momentary sense of escape. It acts as a temporary release valve for life's frustrations, but it is a superficial solution that merely postpones confronting our inner shadows. Rather than solving the problem, it conceals it, creating a cycle of escape and return to emptiness. True freedom and happiness are not found in extremes of indulgence or denial, but in reconnecting with our essence, cultivating balance, and nurturing inner peace. The real issue is not the act of drinking itself, but what drives you to feel the need to drink, what makes you want to escape reality. Throughout history, many spiritual masters, prophets, and mystics have shared their insights on alcohol. Their words carry wisdom, warning us of the hidden dangers of this substance and its implications for our spiritual journey. These accounts are not mere moral admonitions, but profound advice rooted in love, meant to protect humanity's connection to the divine. In Vedic traditions, alcohol is seen as a substance that reduces sattva, the quality of purity and harmony. The Bhagavad Gita teaches that a balanced mind is essential for accessing higher planes of consciousness. Anything that disturbs this balance is an obstacle on the spiritual path. According to these traditions, consuming alcohol increases the qualities of rajas, restless passion, and tamas, darkness and ignorance, destabilizing the practitioner and weakening their capacity for meditation and introspection. Buddha, in his teachings on the Noble Eightfold Path, warned of the dangers of intoxicating substances. For him, consuming anything that clouds the mind hinders spiritual progress because it disconnects us from the clarity needed to perceive the ultimate truth, nirvana. In many Buddhist communities, alcohol is completely avoided as part of Shila, the ethical discipline. In Hermetic and alchemical traditions, alcohol was viewed ambivalently. While it was considered a powerful substance capable of extracting essences and transforming raw materials, it was also recognized as a dangerous dual symbol. It represented both the possibility of illumination and the risk of being lost in the world of illusions. Alchemists warned that the reckless use of alcohol could lead to the degradation of the energy body, opening doors to negative influences on subtle planes. A fascinating account comes from Sufi traditions. Rumi, the great mystical poet, used wine as a metaphor in his verses, referring to the wine of divine love, which intoxicates the soul with the presence of God. However, he also cautioned against literal wine, which, according to him, diverted seekers from the path of awakening. For the Sufis, true ecstasy comes from spiritual connection, not external substances. In Christianity, alcohol occupies a peculiar place. Wine is a central symbol in the Eucharist, representing Christ's blood and the new covenant with God. However, early Christians and many saints warned of the danger of excess. St. Augustine wrote that drunkenness was a form of self-destruction of the soul, an act that separates us from divine grace. He saw excessive consumption as a distraction that pulls us away from introspection and prayer. Other mystical accounts describe the spiritual consequences of indiscriminate use of alcohol. In shamanism, alcohol is believed to weaken the light body, the energetic protection that keeps individuals in balance with the universe. Many shamans assert that alcohol facilitates the entry of parasitic energies, or negative entities, that feed on the low vibrations caused by intoxication. These accounts converge in a common warning. Alcohol can be a dangerous tool, affecting both the physical body and the subtle levels of our existence. It disconnects us from what mystics call the axis mundi, the axis aligning us with the cosmos, enabling us to navigate the physical and spiritual realms. When this alignment is broken, we lose our ability to access intuition, clarity, and higher states of consciousness. However, not all accounts are warnings. Some spiritual masters recognize that in ritualistic contexts and with pure intentions, alcohol can serve as a catalyst for altered states of perception. But they always emphasize that this must be done with extreme care, respect, and guidance, as the line between spiritual ecstasy and energetic degradation is very thin. Finally, let us remember the words of the Greek philosopher Socrates, who claimed that self-mastery is the key to a virtuous life. For him, the pursuit of balance was the foundation of all philosophical and spiritual practice. By indulging in alcohol uncontrollably, we abdicate this self-mastery, becoming vulnerable to forces that cloud our mind and soul. These accounts and warnings invite us to reflect. Does the alcohol we consume during our moments of leisure or celebration uplift us or pull us down? Does it connect us to the divine or merely create an illusion of freedom? By listening to the wisdom of the great masters, we can begin to see alcohol in a new light, as a symbol challenging us to seek true intoxication, that of the awakened soul, full of light and consciousness. After exploring the origins of alcohol, its impact on the energetic body, the veil of illusion it creates, and the mystical accounts warning us of its dangers, we arrive at the most crucial point. How do we break free from this cycle? How can we transcend dependence, physical, emotional, or spiritual, and discover a new perspective, a life of clarity and connection with our essence, without relying on any emotional crutches? Liberation begins with awareness. When we understand alcohol's impact on our body, mind, and spirit, something within us awakens. This awareness is the first spark of transformation, the starting point for real change. It is the moment we stop acting automatically, driven by conditioning or immediate pleasures, and begin questioning our choices. Why do we seek alcohol? What are we truly trying to fill? The answer to these questions often lies in our internal void, the sense of disconnection so many of us experience. Alcohol, like other forms of escapism, offers temporary relief, but does not address the underlying cause. It is like a mask we wear during moments of difficulty, but one that eventually falls off, exposing our unresolved pains once more. To break this cycle, we must turn inward, where the real answers lie. Spiritual practice is a powerful path for this journey. Meditation, yoga, prayer, conscious breathing, and other techniques help restore balance to the body and mind. They strengthen the energetic field and reconnect us to our essence. As we cultivate inner silence, our emotional wounds naturally surface. And as these imbalances are neutralized, we begin to realize that the peace we sought externally has always been within us, waiting to be discovered. Many spiritual traditions offer specific practices for overcoming addiction. In Buddhism, for example, Mindfulness teaches us to observe impulses and desires without acting on them. Instead of reacting automatically, we learn to witness, breathe, and make conscious choices. In Christianity, the concept of divine grace reminds us that we are not alone in this journey, that higher support is always available for those who sincerely seek it. Ask, and it shall be given to you. Reconnecting with nature is also essential. Alcohol disrupts our natural harmony, and spending time outdoors, in forests, mountains, or by the sea, helps restore this lost connection. The Earth's energy is purifying, and can help release toxins not only from the body, but also from the mind and spirit. Another crucial step is practicing gratitude. Often, we turn to alcohol as a way to escape what we perceive as an unsatisfactory reality. But by cultivating gratitude for what we have, even in the small things, we start to see the beauty of the present moment. Gratitude connects us to life's abundance and dissolves the emptiness we often try to fill with external substances. I understand that things aren't as simple as they sound, but everything begins with intention. My work is to bring you the message that you are not a slave to anything. You are the master of your consciousness and do not need any substance to be happy and live a fulfilled life. Community is also vital. Walking the path of liberation does not have to be a solitary journey. Surrounding yourself with people who share similar values and goals can be transformative. Spiritual groups, meditation circles, or even conscious friends can offer support, inspiration, and encouragement during challenging times. Finally, we must cultivate forgiveness, especially self-forgiveness. Many people struggle with guilt or shame for their past choices involving alcohol. But as Rumi said, the wound is the place where the light enters you. Our imperfections and mistakes are part of our journey, and it is through them that we learn and grow. Breaking free from the cycle of alcohol is not just about abandoning a substance. It is about embracing a new way of living, a freer, more aligned way of being that reflects our true nature. Visualize this transformation as a tree reborn in spring. Even after the cold and dormancy of winter, life returns with vigor, filling the branches with leaves and fruit. So it is with our soul when we choose to free ourselves from the cycle. It is a rebirth, an opportunity to bloom again, stronger, more aware, and more connected to the divine essence within us. Alcohol may have been a shadow along our path, but shadows only exist because there is light. By choosing liberation, we choose to walk toward the light, toward our truth. The question remains, are you ready to take this step? To look beyond what the external world offers and discover the infinite source of peace, joy, and clarity that has always been within you. Thank you for watching.